owe me one. Try a little joke with them about that. People like it when you have a little bit of humor when they lose a file. Type in their first name, then type in their email address, and then click share. And basically, they will get the email with the link and then download that folder file in probably under a minute. It goes pretty instantly. And after you share a file, you're just kind of reminded, hey, here's all the shares that you made, and unshare it if you don't want to share it anymore. Pretty easy. I'm going to go to the reporting section now for you. Go to machine backup details. Any customer or even the IT manager will want to know, hey, I need some reporting on what I've been doing lately. And right here is a summary of all my systems I'm backing up, the last backup date, and how much each server is backing up in total. This is very nice to see, hey, who's backing up too much data. There is also a date range search that tells you, based on a certain date and time, about when backups happen for each machine and how much was backed on that day. And so you can see here we have our machine. Some are listed twice because each day there's been a backup and how much is backed during that day.
We've got some questions here. Dan asked if the web portal compatible with Chrome. Works on Chrome, IE, and Firefox. The next question, Tony says 1 watt question mark, and Tony, I'm not quite sure what you're referring to there.
Okay. So I'm gonna go back to the next piece of software here. I'm done showing the Backup Recovery Manager we're very proud of. You can see here we did log into the ServerSave. This is the installer. You click on the application you want to install. It then lets you download it, install it. If it's EGR or governmental recovery, governmental image backup, you get the license key there. You get the license file for EGR right here. Very simple. Here is the workstation backup you could use on some of your desktops or PCs. And there's some other tabs here to help you set your backup in case you need some help. This is a suggestion. File servers, you probably want folder file backup for your file server and as an image. These are suggestions. And then there's the support and manage tab. If you do need extra help, go to the web portal, contact us, and so on. All right, so the next thing I want to show you guys is the backup as an image. We decided to do a partnership with StorageCraft. We feel that their technology is the most reliable for backing up.
For bare metal backup.
For bare metal backup. So as Kevin mentioned earlier, as far as transactions and backups, this software does it automatically for you. While it's backing up a disk, if it detects a VSS writer for Exchange or SQL or Oracle, it'll use a VSS writer to make sure that database is backed up, transaction consistent automatically. There's no plugins necessary. Notice on the right-hand side, there is the network view. It's basically central management. They have it built into the software itself. So if you want to manage this from another machine, you can do so without paying for a license key. So maybe like your laptop, you can install it on there, and you can recover files by using the software that, or manage your other systems. But if you try and click the backup button, it'll ask you for a license key. Okay. So basically, some of you may be aware of this or seen this before. You get a backup job, you select your disks like that, C drive and E drive, and then next you choose where you want to save them to. Most of you are going to have to go to a network location like a NAS or maybe even a Windows share someplace. Some of you may have put in an external drive. And here we have continuous incrementals. Now, we recommend continuous incrementals because a lot of our partners, that's what they do, and it's also recommended by our partner StorageCraft because it's the backup job that requires the least amount of your time involved, and because it uses less local storage space and online storage space, which means you don't have to worry about going and freeing up local online storage because you have lots of full backups. This is only going to run one full backup and then incrementals from whenever you choose. It's not necessary anymore to do lots of extra fulls because when you do that, you're probably going to be concerned with your local and online storage filling up too quickly. But then again, it's up to you. So right here we have continuous incrementals. Notice that we have the top piece here where we can do once-a-day backups. But if I want backup every single hour or every 2 hours, I just change this setting here, and I can have backup run every 2 hours if I want to, like that. Going on, the options screen, we have our compression. Standard or recommended just because it's most reliable and for speed. However, some of you want more compression, you can choose to do high. Keep in mind that your images are going to be the size of only the use space of each disk. With compression turned on, you'll see about 50% compression on those. If you desire to have more security on your local images, you can enter a password, click Advanced, and then choose your encryption algorithm. Also, the tabs here to look at on advanced options are the commands tab. And there's some scripts in here made for a database that you want to stop and start when the backup is running. The image tab here, one thing worth mentioning that I enjoy or like is the enable self-healing incremental recovery. I don't know why you'd ever want to disable this, because what this does is when an incremental backup is running, if it detects there is any corruption in the backup job, it will purge that backup job, purge the file it made. The next time the backup runs on a still backup, it's going to run a differential instead of an incremental, which is the differential is much more powerful, get all the data it needs. And then after it's done, it then converts that to an incremental, of course making it a lot smaller, and then they're fixing the backup. That's the self-healing technology that I'm a big fan of. And then we have the throttling, so if you need to throttle back for performance reasons, for CPU or memory, it's right there. And there's also the verification file. Okay. Some of you have also asked us, I'm kind of worried if I'm doing my first full backup and it's like 200 gigs, and I'm halfway through, and then all of a sudden my power goes out. I'm gonna have to start the backup all over again. Well, if you split your images, maybe in some chunks here, maybe like 2 gigs or about 4 gigs, you're gonna have maybe 25 pieces to upload. And let's say the backup is running, it'll get 10 of those pieces, and let's say your power goes out, you'll be able to start off with the 11th, and so on. Okay, we're gonna run it back there now.
Got some questions here. If the service we maintain their systems and their systems crash and they need to regain data from the backup, can we as a service provide a remote link to the system for them from our location, such as remote links? Sure, Michael, you can either do that recovery for them or you could just give them access to do that recovery from their location. And Richard asks, can I have my end user recover files without seeing all of my other end user backups? Absolutely, Rich. You'd usually set up one account per customer. So although you would have access to all your customers, each customer would only have access to his own files.
So as you can see here, the backup has started. I get a log for everything that's happening. That helps you troubleshoot things in the future. So there are also the backup history tab. You tell you about issues. On the wizard tab, there's restore. So you use this if you want to restore an entire volume other than the C drive. If you're looking to restore the C drive, you use the boot recovery environment, which is an ISO we give you, and that'll help you recover the same hardware, different hardware, or virtual environment. The Explore Backup button is the same as actually right-clicking on an image. I'm going to do that right now for you. So I'll go to my backup location. I have my images here. I have my full incrementals, my chain of backups. I can right-click and go Quick Mount. Now give me a Windows drive letter to recover from. Probably almost done. There it is. We have the H drive there. It has Exchange on there. This is one of our images mounted as a Windows drive letter. I can then open this up, pull out a folder or file if I need to, or an Exchange recovery, which I'm going to do now for you. So you can see here, I then can go to my source. I can pick the EDB file that's inside my mounted image. There it is. It finds the transaction logs. It does create a temporary file as like a log. And then once I hit OK, and that connects for me, I'm then going to connect to a live Exchange server and do a drag and drop recovery. Let's see if we have any more questions here.
Michael says, definitely a much easier method of use compared to other applications out there. I'm very impressed. Great, Michael. Michael, have you got any other questions about what we've seen so far? The bare metal technology, the cloud backup and recovery manager, the reporting. Anybody else got any other specific requests for what you'd like to see us demo today? Because after this, we're going to move into sort of the web-based reporting mechanisms, and then just try and have a Q&A discussion with you all about, what topics would you like to hear more about, or what topics would you like to learn more about as you're educating yourself about the SOS program. And you've got your audience today here is sort of a good one. You've got John for any technical questions. You've got Jeff, who's our head of sales and sort of sits over all of our partners, and you've got the CEO, me. So between the three of us, we should be able to come up with the answer. So we got a question here from Cohen. What is the oldest Windows version supported? That's going to be Windows Server 2003 and Windows XP, Cohen. We used to support Windows 2000, but we phased that out. George asks, with Exchange, can you do mailbox level recovery? George, you must be clairvoyant because John's about to demo that.
Okay, so what I just did right there is actually connected to my Exchange server, all the mailboxes, and you can see I have access to these mailboxes here. So what I'm going to show you is that user one lost an email and needs to get it back. So first we're going to do message level recovery. So I'm on the Live Exchange server right down here at the bottom. This message is gone. All I need to do is click on user one's mailbox, hit the search button here, type in some keywords from that message. Let's say the subject line was Nortel, and it was from user 2. Here's the message. Now all I need to do is just drag this over to the inbox, and I've now done a message level recovery, and it probably only took about maybe 4 minutes or less. You mount your image, and then you can access the EDB file right away and drag and drop it. So that was successful. If the message was already there, it'll say duplicate, message not copied. Now, if you want to do mailbox level recovery, you just take the mailbox up here in the backup, and drag it down to the server name, and let go, and it's going to start rebuilding or anything that's missing to do that. The same thing applies for anything else. Everything is drag and drop in here. Contacts, calendar, just drag it down to the inbox there, or the mailbox name. This also can be used for Exchange recovery, the database, and migration. Literally, there is support for dragging this database down to the server name and just rebuilding it from where it was before. So it is very simple. All the heavy lifting is done in the background. We don't see it. Any questions on that? Let's see here. So we just did mailbox recovery, George. Hopefully you like that. Is there an Exchange tool? Is the Exchange an extra cost? So I'll let Ken describe that for you. Basically, how everything's bundled.
Sure thing. So when we talk about ServerSave 5, you get 5 server licenses, right? And everything's included. So server licenses includes the cloud backup and recovery, the Exchange backup and recovery, the SQL Server backup and recovery, the bare metal image backup and recovery, so on and so forth. So there's just 2 things you need to think about when you're dealing with sort of SOS and when you're selling this through. How many servers and how many endpoints. And when I say endpoint, I'm talking about a laptop or a workstation. So again, that server 5 comes with 1,000 endpoint seats and 5 server seats. Got some other questions. Michael wants us to go back over pricing. We'll definitely do that. Dan was about Exchange. Michael also asked, can cloud backup video files such as from security cameras video for low retrieval? Absolutely, Michael. If we can handle multi-terabyte disk images, we can definitely handle video files.
Right. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard here, and we have the central management report I want to show you. So after you set up your online backups, you then, I'm sure, want to monitor those. This is going to give you what everybody's been asking for, is one pane of glass to see my red lights, yellow lights, there aren't any, and there's green. So red is, there's some failure. Yellow would be backup completed with errors, and green is everything's all fine and dandy. And there's also where you can mouse over some of these here and actually see some more detail, which is nice.
So you can see that backup that John just ran a moment ago. And if we'd gone to this portal while it was running, you would have actually seen the backup run in real time. So there's a web-based interface, but actually gives you real-time view into the events that are occurring on all of your endpoints.
All right. So the next thing I want to show you is the duplicate. The next thing I want to show you is, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong page. Here we go. Okay. So the other thing you want to know is you probably want to manage the Reseller admin portal for your users. So we'll go in that right now. We're going to go and it says view full list. You can see here, this is a lot of my customers. I have 2 pages of customers. One that I want to show you here is, I want to go in and see how much data they backed up from a Reseller admin point of view. Go in here, I can upgrade, cancel, reset password, change your email address. I can view details here, get more information. I can view how much they backed up right there. Other items in here on the main screen is recent signups. You can, hey, I have a new customer, great. You might reach out to them or just see, thank you for the purchase. See cancellation requests and upgrades. Other thing you can see here is, you can change the pricing. Like I said before, we're giving you an e-commerce, web application to drive traffic to, get more information about the backup, get pricing, buy with their credit card or PayPal. The money goes into your account, not ours. They can fill out a support ticket, all of that things. So if there's a place for them to sign up, there's going to be backup plans. Here it is right here. You can change the pricing on your commerce site without involving us at all. You can even hide them, have trial accounts, all that stuff. Coupon codes right over here. Here's the content. You guys can modify the pages you want for yourself. If you have any problems, you just reach out to us. We'll help you. Here's the support tickets. So a customer goes to the web page, clicks on Contact Us, they fill out a form, you'll see it here, and then you can just reply to it. and you see that what they wrote, add a comment, notify user, type it in here, the comment, and submit, and they get that back right away. There's a mailer dashboard. This is for other things like, doing like mass emailing campaign. You see you have campaigns down here. And then, use the gateways, update application, making any changes. So everything you need to kind of manage your business. And if it seems too complicated, that's okay. We have a training for those of you who like training and getting taught how to use it.
Well, there's an entire department here we call the partner delivery team. So that's 7, 8 different people whose entire job is to take you from the day you become a partner all the way through to revenue in the market, right? So those people are, they're focused on getting you the sales and marketing material you need, getting your website set up, rebranding a product for you, training your salespeople on how to sell it, training your techs on how to manage it, even talking to your customers if that's what's necessary to get your deployments live. You won't find another company with the same sort of partner support that SOS has got. Once you leave that partner delivery team, you've then got a dedicated account manager. You've also got a dedicated support representative. So you've got an enormous amount of support on an ongoing basis. You can attend as many of the training sessions as you like. They're going on every day. And the training, you have 3 different streams of training: sales training, product training, and then sort of an overall success in the backup industry training program that we run as well. So enormous dedication and commitment from us to you, the partners, because our goal here is really to see you be successful. We don't make any money unless you get into this program and really sell through to your customers. That's the end of John's demo. Have we got questions for John or any other demo-related questions? Now's the time to ask them. Brad's got a question. If my client has a slow internet connection, what's the best way to upload the first big chunk of the data to the cloud? So Brad, you can ship the data to us on a disk and we'll do it for you. That service is called our physical media upload, or PMU service. Dan asks, do you sell directly to the consumer? So Dan, not in the ServerSave program. We do sell SOS Online Backup for Home Edition to like home users, but for ServerSave we're exclusively channel.
Dan, it's just a point of clarification too. When you're saying the consumer, certainly we do not sell ServerSave to the consumer. We will sell to the direct businesses, but that will be at a higher price point than you would as a wholesaler of ours. As Ken mentioned earlier in the webinar, about 80% of our total revenue comes from our partnership channel. So you're really coming to us through the front door. We've taken the last 12 years of our existence and put together a rather profitable mousetrap for our resellers. So that is how we would like to engage the end users at large, is through you as our reseller channel.
So we've got some requests to go back over pricing, so let's go to that. So let's just walk through ServerSave 5, because that's the easiest one to wrap your head around. The ServerSave 5, you get 1,000 workstation seats, you get 5 server seats, you get 1 terabyte in our cloud. Okay, the recommended retail price for ServerSave starts at $129 per month. So in this analysis, we're assuming that you will sell 0 workstations or laptops, and you will only sell servers. So if you're buying from us at $80 per server per month, right? You're selling it for $130 per server per month. So you're making $49 per month per server as your margin. On that basis, your profit for the server 5 is $246 per month. But that's really underserving it, because you're not going to sell 0 laptops and workstations, right? And you're probably going to sell it for more than $129 per month. So as you heard from Jeff earlier, we've got some partners selling it for $550 per month per server. So pricing to the partner really boils down to $80 per server per month on our server 5 pack. Now that really goes all the way down to $36 with volume. So if you've got 20 customers, you'd come in at the server 25 and you're paying $36 per server per month and selling it for $130 or maybe $200 or $300. So if you were selling it for $300 per server per month, then you'd be making 90% gross margin, which sort of, again, just highlights what an extremely generous partner program that we've got going on. And one thing I should I don't think it'll always be this way. There's a really interesting thing going on in the online backup industry right now. and we're trying to enroll as many partners as possible into our programs. And so, whatever, if you join us now, this is the price that you pay. But 6 months from now, these prices are going to be a lot higher because what we're really trying to do is get as many SOS partners around the world as possible.
But you will be locked in at this rate.
Absolutely.
And the other nice thing about the way that we have this modeled out is it provides an easy access point of entry for you at a level that's meaningful for you. So you don't have to come in at the server 25. If really what you have are the immediate opportunity for 10. And what I would highly recommend is that you call in and speak with your partner specialist, because they'll be able to put together a specific plan based around your business. And we have actually some good incentives as well for coming online at this particular time. So very much would recommend that you call and speak to your partner specialist as soon as you have the availability after the webinar.
Any other questions before we wrap up today's webinar? We've had a pretty lively audience today, but what information do you guys still need before making the jump into the partner program? Michael says very. I don't know what that means, Michael. Tony says great info, thanks. Happy to help, Tony. And for those of you who haven't yet asked a question, I can see a few of you haven't asked a question. Remember, ask a question to put your name in for that Kindle draw that we're doing. Michael said, oh, it was a response to something I said. Okay. Dan wants to know, do we have a place we can download talking points for customer questions? Absolutely, Dan. In the Partner Resource Center, what we call the PRC, it is filled with material. So material like today's presentation. There's an e-book on ways to sell online backup, 13-page e-book, a grandiose description of it. There's a 13-page guide on best practices in selling online backup, and that's got FAQs in it. There's marketing templates that you can leverage. And then, of course, throughout the training program, you also deal with all those things. So there's actually a training webinar that Derek Wood, the head of our partner program, runs, which is dealing with sort of sales training and what your sales folk need to know about when they're going out into the field to sell this. Tony wants to look more at the marketing info. Okay, Tony.
And Tony, you go speak to our partner specialist. They'll give you the credentials that you can access our PRC.
Michael says, what's the number to call for the partner representative? Oh, good one, Michael. Okay, so in America, it is +1 877 896 3611, and I've just sent that to all of you all. Jeff, do you know the direct dial number off the top of your head? We'll get that in just a moment. Again, 877-896-361 is the American free call number, and that is there now on the screen, and we'll get the direct dial in just a second. Well, actually, let's just give you Jeff's direct dial number. Jeff, what's your direct dial number?
310 area code 878-2623.
And remember, Jeff's the VP of Sales, so he can get you to whoever you should be talking to. We've got some other comments coming in here. Mark says, it's been very informative and interesting. It's a long weekend starting today in Australia, but I plan on hitting the ground running with this first thing Tuesday. That's great, Mark, and there is a boom in online backup going on in Australia.
Sure is.
Yeah, so we're seeing a real slew of partners, which warms the cockles of my heart, let me tell you, because when we launched in 2001, we got laughed out of the building trying to sell online backup back in Australia. But there is a massive surge of business in online backup back home for me. Tony says, thanks. Dan says, can I get the same price later if I jump up a level to 5 or 10? So Dan, while those prices are in place, absolutely. So we will be raising our prices later in the year. But if you jump up to a server 10 before we do that, then you'll be locked in at your contract rate. So Mark says, how is billing handled? CC or statement? Mark, are you talking about billing between us and you, or billing between you and your customers? And George says, very impressive. Thanks, George. What will be more impressive is when you're actually selling this to your customers and you're earning a few $1,000s a month in profit margin. We're looking forward to that.
Yeah, Mark, if you're referring to the billing from us to you, typically what we do is we just get a credit card and we tap that card once a month. As far as you to your customer, that's entirely up to you. Some people do it monthly, some annually, some quarterly.
Terrific. Any feedback from the group? What could we do more of in this webinar to make it more useful to people who are getting to know SOS Online Backup? As you can tell, we love talking to customers, so these are really important feedback mechanisms for us as an executive team. I don't get to do as many of these as I'd like, but I really enjoy speaking to prospects and existing partners and learning about what your challenges are and why you're interested in talking to us and how we can improve these presentations. And so any feedback you got is very much useful. Michael's looking forward to joining the program. Mark wants us to make it on a time of day when it doesn't start at 4 a.m. in Australia. Sorry about that, mate. Excellent. All right, good. Well, thanks everybody for your attention today. Sorry it's gone a bit over time, but I think it's been useful. Do call in. Call in to find out if you're the winner of that Kindle, and call in if you've got any questions.